Dr. Doreen Granpeesheh is the
Dr. Doreen is an expert in autism.
Doreen Granpeesheh.
Dr. Granpeesheh.
Dr. Doreen Granpeesheh.
Dr. Doreen Granpeesheh is a visionary in the field of autism. Now you can ask her questions on Ask Dr. Doreen. My 4-year-old is not speaking yet. At what point do we give up hope that he will speak? Our ABA team wants to have him start using an iPad to communicate, and I feel that it is too soon to give up. First of all, we're giving a hug.
Yes.
Because this is hard stuff, but...
It is very hard stuff. But reality is that sometimes our kids don't end up speaking, and the other reality is that sometimes they will speak even when you start using an AUG device or like an iPad. So I kind of, I for a moment, because you said like giving you a hug, I mean, for a moment there, I just like was taken aback by the feeling that you must have as a parent, because it's so devastating to come to a point where you say, I'm going to give up on something. Yeah. And I don't think you need to give up on it. I think you just need to try a new thing, because it's important for our kids to communicate. And sometimes, there's a physical issue that's preventing them from communicating vocally. Could be the child has hearing issues. It could be they have very severe aphasia or apraxia. And so you need to be able to teach the child to communicate in a different way, because if you don't, this stuff happens, right? You start to become, the child starts to become more and more frustrated and starts to communicate in ways that we don't want them to, because we all need to communicate. So, and if your child doesn't have some approachable, acceptable, socially fine way of communicating, they will go to those more challenging ways. So I would suggest that you begin some sort of visual device, whether it's icons, like, with like pictures, or icons like a PEX system, or anything that is non-vocal, but you can pair the vocal with it. Just don't necessarily require it, because that would make it very, very difficult for the child, but pair it. So for instance, if you start with usually I like to start with a picture exchange system, because it's easier than going, right now, of course, you can do PECs on an iPad or any other kind of technology. And all you're doing is, you're giving the child a visual library of things that they can use to communicate. What do you want? And there's 4 pictures, and the child can touch the item. When they touch the item, it's not a bad idea to label it. You label it vocally, like they touch apple, and you'll say, oh, apple. Okay, you want apple. And so he continues to hear the language. Sometimes children will actually start to vocalize after they've started using a visual system. Yes. So, but it helps a lot, because you're averting their frustration. You're giving them the ability to communicate. Yeah. And let me tell you, there are children where we tried to get them to vocalize for many, many, many years, and we couldn't. And we went to AUG devices, and whether it was an iPad or just a device that you can keyboard into and it speaks for you, we did all kinds of stuff, and you get to a point where some of those children won't even communicate that way. And then later we found those children were communicating through letterboarding, or, our kids communicate in different ways, and we all have to kind of be open to it. Yeah. And so that's, I commend you, and I suggest that you go forward and try it.
Yeah. Don't forget, you can watch Ask Dr. Doreen live every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time. We hope to see you there.